I'm just going to go ahead and say it because I have a right to an opinion. We're all entitled to our opinions. And I know that probably a lot of people would disagree with me on this. But quite frankly, like I said, I have a right to my opinion. And I have a feeling I'm not the only one who thinks this. Now, if I am the only one who thinks this, well, I will always stand my ground when it comes to this. You see, the thing about today's age when it comes to movies is that, and I saw this in some segment on the news, where they don't make movies like they used to anymore. And it's true. This person who said, well, they still do. It's just more evolved, more, this and that. I have to disagree. When I mean they don't make movies like they used to, it's the story. It's not just the gimmicks in the story in the movie. It is how the movie is being presented, how the story within the movie is being presented. Nowadays, it's just concept after concept after concept. There's no originality. There's nothing new. It is remakes, reboots, sequels, and franchises. And that's all that is. It's all based on familiarity, and the majority of these sequels are not only way, way overdue, but at this point is unnecessary. In my opinion, Beetlejuice was unnecessary. It would have been better if it was at that time back then, because it just seems better back then. Now it's like, I don't know. I'm sure a lot of people felt the same way. It just, in my opinion, if I'm going to be honest, I didn't watch it because it didn't grab me. When I saw the trailer, it was just like, really? And then from what I heard about other people were saying, I was just like, well, that's stupid. Why would they do this? Why would they do that? I don't understand. Yada, yada, yada. It doesn't sound like the original film. And I've watched the original film. I own the original film. I played that original film like crazy. I had the DVD because I played the movie so many times on my VHS tape that it is gone. It is blown. I can't, when you watch something over and over again, over time, the film gets crinkled up and can't be used anymore. That's what I did with the tape. That's what happened. But yeah, they don't make them like they used to. And like I said, the remakes, half the time the remakes are unnecessary as well, because if you're going to make a remake, you can't have it scene for scene, word for word, line for line. You might as well just watch the original. Unnecessary remakes are like The Karate Kid, Footloose, what was it? Steel Magnolias. I mean, come on now. If you're gonna do it word for word, scene for scene, don't do it. A remake would be like, or like Psycho. Psycho was an unnecessary remake. It was word for word, scene for scene. It was as if it took place in modern day times. Here's your thing. No, don't do that, Yeah, some Halloween, it's not Halloween. Well, yeah, the remakes of Halloween I thought were cool because they divided it from the original. Now, some people would say Rob Zombie's franchise of Halloween was bad. I liked it better. I liked that better than the sort of, it was Halloween and then Halloween Kills and Halloween Ends. I saw the franchise, and I get why they sort of kind of rebooted the franchise. Which technically that franchise takes place after the events of the second film, Halloween 2. Because, of course, Halloween 3 or the Season of the Witch had nothing to do with Halloween. Basically, they were trying to see if they could build off, do like an analog or anesthesiology kind of thing. It didn't work out, so they went back to Michael Myers, which is why Halloween 4 came and stuff like that. Actually, no, I'll take that back. It didn't take place after Halloween 2. It took place after the events of Halloween, because in Halloween 2, it is said that they are brother and sister. There we go. Sorry about that, guys. I got a little bit carried away there. No. Because if it was brother and sister in Halloween, Laura would have said, oh, no, Lori, excuse me. Lori would have said, oh, he's my brother. The shape is my brother. No, she didn't say that. She just said, I prayed for him to get out so I can kill him. Because, like in the first film, he was not killed. He was not killed off. He was captured, but he was not killed off. But yeah, so that was, okay, I get it. They kind of retcon the rest of the season, the rest of the movies after the first one of the original, John Carpenter's 1979. Yeah, 1970. It was either 1978 or 1979. Because the other one, I think it was 1980, 1981, part 2 came out. And John Carpenter was not directing it. He was producing it, and he still did the music for it. But all in all, I'm going all over the place. So the point I'm trying to make here is that... All right, how can I say this? Adaptations, you have a play adaptation, you have a book adaptation, you have a movie adaptation, you have this. This one adaptation I thought was the best, or remake, however you want to call it. So basically, this whole thing started with a manga. Then it became an anime. Then it became a live action film, a live action adaptation of the manga. Then it became another adaptation, because the original adaptation, the original live action adaptation was Japanese. And then they did a remake, an American adaptation of that. So if you guys haven't guessed it yet, and if you guys have, yes, I am talking about the Netflix's adaptation for Death Note. Go ahead, say what you want. I can already hear people, what are you talking about? It was BS. That's your guys' opinion. I loved it. Because it was not scene for scene. It was not trying to copy off anything. This was more of an expansion. The way I saw it was more of, we as humans, when we have power, we tend to go on a power trip. In the Japanese adaptation of Death Note, Light was, a young man who wanted to be a prosecutor. He wanted to put the bad guys in jail. But when he found out how flawed the justice system was, he felt like it failed him and the countless of the families of the victims' lives it had failed. So he wanted to rewrite the rules, which is why he had the Death Note. It was personal for him because, not only did his dad work for, law enforcement, but also he just felt like they were lacking and it was a failure, and he wanted to, what he thought, to make it right. In his mind, he was making it right. In the American version, it was very, very, very personal, because it turned out not only was his father, the father was the head. The father was the head of the department. But also his mother, his father's wife, Light Turner, right, was killed by a bad man who was out and about and should have been in jail. I believe it involved a car accident. And basically, Light holds some resentment against his father because he feels like his father could have done something, should have done something. Of course, the father is doing his duty and cannot put his personal feelings into his profession. No matter how much he wants it, he has to follow the rules. And that's when the book comes in, and you can see a power trope. If one was to give this, if one was given this power, how soon would they be corrupted? How soon would they go on a power trip? And how soon is it going to bite them in the butt? And what's also good about this movie was that all of them wanted power. Light wanted power. Mia wanted power. And Elle wanted power. When Elle got a piece of that power, a piece of the Death Note, he had the pen. It's like he had the keys, he had the car, he had the destination of where to go. The question was, should I go? The question was for him was, here I have the page of the Death Note. Here I have the pen. Here I know in my head, light, space, and name. And he looks at a picture of Light and Mia, and he's like laughing hysterically. Like, what do I do? If I do this, I am no better than Light. But then again, like, what do I do? You never know what happens. I hope for a sequel. I really hope for a sequel. Yeah, I get it. It was very different. It was too edgy. Some people would say it had nothing to do with Death Note at all. It was more of, if one had the power, what would you do? How would you go about it? Really expanding it, changed it up just enough to where this is the direction we're going to take it. And Ryuk is enjoying the whole thing. And clearly, I always ask myself, do Shinigamis, because in the manga, in the anime, even in the movie, Shinigamis have, or death gods, are able to feel emotion. They're able to love, things like that. Ryuk in this movie seems like, a manipulator, and yeah, don't trust Ryuk. That was the warning that was in the Death Note. And, he liked the game. He liked to play. You wouldn't know he liked to play, And even Light had threatened, if you do this again, I will write your name in the book. And Ryuk says, you can try, but only a few have only gotten 2 letters down. He has I think 5 letters. Was it R? Y? UK. Yeah, he has 4 letters. Yeah. But yeah, I thought it was a good movie. I enjoyed it. A lot of people did not. I liked how it had a little fun, reference to Final Destination. Not only that, Light seemed to enjoy what kind of deaths the people he wanted to be X'd out. I thought it was really neat. I thought it was kind of cool. And not only that, he's a teenage boy. What's a teenager gonna do? It was, the whole movie was like the lesser of two evils. It was like he was smart. He was very, very clever. And Willem Dafoe as Ryuk. Oh my god, that was a trip. I enjoyed it. Yeah. I loved it. I liked it. It was kind of funny because when I first watched the movie, there was someone I knew who watched the movie. I ended up watching it again, and I was a bit taken back because near the climax scene where Light and Mia are on the Ferris wheel, basically what Light had put down came full circle, had manifested itself. That if Mia took the book, she would be X'd out. And she took the book and it came for a circle. And Ryuk's like, ah. And you could see him basically break down the Ferris wheel. He's breaking it down. So I had asked, this person that I knew. And I was like, hey, I may have seen it wrong. But by any chance, when you saw the movie, did Ryuk look like he was ripping apart the Ferris wheel? And they came and I was like, oh my god, you noticed that too? Yeah, he was, blah, blah, blah. I was like, oh, wow. That's crazy. I liked it. I loved it. I'm pretty sure there's other people who did too. I liked how it was different. It was edgy. It was enough to show it had something to do with the story. This wasn't like, these remakes or these adaptations that obviously have nothing to do with the original source of material. Like Netflix's failed Resident Evil. You know, it had a story, but it had really nothing to do with Resident Evil. They changed so much. They more focused on trying to change it up so much to where nothing made sense. You know, and they were putting materials in that just obviously was unnecessary. Wesker died in Resident Evil 5 video game. He died. He died in a volcano. He had no clones. No nothing. You know, Raccoon City was gone. Raccoon City was gone. Some viruses were gone. You know. So there was a lot of things that just didn't make any sense. There were some references to the game, but it didn't make any sense. And I still stand by what I said was the older Jade and older Billy, you know, they should have been their own characters, and the little girls, the younger versions of them, should have been their own characters too. And, you know, okay, they made a new Raccoon City, you know, in Johannesburg. Okay, cool. Claire wanted to go see what was going on because Umbrella was running the place. Chris and Leon, they both have a whiff of what older Jade was doing. She was a former Umbrella operative that stole secrets and see what's going on. So Umbrella is after her. You know, they're after her because she has something that, you know, Rebecca needs because there is a plan of attack, you know, blah, blah, blah. If they would have done it that way, they would have had something. It would have been a heck of a lot better. But no. Yeah, it had nothing to do with Resident Evil. You don't see our beloved characters. You know, there's nothing wrong with having new characters. It was just like, where do they go? You know, what's going on? Why do they take that route? You know, it made no sense. And it was almost as if it just took the name and just slapped it. Here you go. This is Resident Evil. No. I don't feel like this with Death Note. I know some people would disagree because they felt it like that. I didn't feel like it just slapped on. It was like I was glued from beginning to end. And I had watched that movie so many times, and I would continue to watch it so many times because it was so good. You know, yeah, I was worried about it, you know, all right. Then there were some, you know, details I can overlook. Okay, that's fine. You know, I can overlook this. I can overlook that. I see what they're trying to do. I enjoyed it. I loved it. So if you guys didn't like it, okay, that's fine. You know, that's your opinion. That's your right. You didn't like it. I loved it. I loved it. We can agree to disagree and we can be respectful to one another's opinions. I loved it. If you didn't, cool. That's fine. That's fine. I would like to know why you didn't like it because, you know, I like to hear what other people say. You know, why can't we talk? Why can't we talk about this? You know? But I liked Death Note. I liked the American adaptation of Death Note because it was not word for word, scene for scene. It was its own story. And they held it close to the source of material, unlike what Resident Evil did. So yeah, it held it close. I loved it. I freaking loved it. And I will continue to love it. I will continue to like it. So yeah. I loved it. If you guys didn't, okay. I don't like beans. I like green beans. I don't like greens. I'll put that out there. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know why I said that.